Well, good morning, Wareham. It is Monday, December 10th. And we have a great show here for you. The news headlines, the weather report, and today in history. This morning, we have Richard Swanson in the studio who is going to be talking about a potential Wareham Congress that is in the works. And also this Friday was our annual Wareham parade, Christmas parade. So we'll take a look at some of that footage and more. But first, I would like to take this moment to thank Not Your Average Antiques, an antique shop down Cranberry Highway in East Wareham, for donating the props that you see in the morning show. So stay tuned because the news headlines and the weather report are next. Well, Wareham teachers and school bus drivers collected toys for their third annual Stuff a Bus donation drive to benefit Turning Point. Turning Point, an all-volunteer social service agency providing assistance to the homeless and those at risk of becoming homeless in Wareham. They do this through a variety of programs. During the holidays, the organization also helps to sponsor gifts for children in need. And also the Southeastern Regional Planning and Economic Development District is wrapping up a study of Route 6, which spans from Route 240 in Fairhaven East to High Street in Wareham. The study area covers approximately 13 miles, 6 signalized intersections, and including a substantial number of residents, businesses, and institutional use. The committee is holding 2 public meetings to present and discuss the future traffic analysis and potential roadway improvement alternatives for the Route 6 corridor and to gather feedback. Anyone with experience traveling this corridor, and particularly the residents and businesses owners in the area, are invited to either of these public meetings to share information and experiences, ask questions, and to express their opinions on their vision of Route 6. The meeting's dates are as follows. Thursday, December 12th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Center Elementary School. I'm sorry, that will not be Thursday. That will be Wednesday. And also, same time that Thursday at Sipican Elementary School. Anyhow, thank you very much for that, and that concludes this morning news headlines. We are now going to take a look at our weather forecast. A rainy day out there today, not as cold, not as windy either, but quite rainy and gloomy. And that bad news is it's going to stay that way today and also tomorrow. Rain, however, will become very windy this afternoon with winds gusting over 40 miles per hour. We are looking at a 56 for a high and 54 for a low. Tomorrow, cloudy with occasional rain in the afternoon, high at 59. Evening rain followed by a mix of rain and snow. Later Tuesday night, we're looking at a low of 29. Winds could gust over 40 miles per hour. So there's a potential of snow there on Tuesday, hopefully not too bad. But Wednesday morning, there is some rain and your car, well, it's nice and clean. Anyhow, that concludes this morning weather forecast. Right now, let's take a look at what happened on on Saturday during that Christmas parade.
Hi, I'm Marie Ferreira.
And I'm Laurie Ellis.
And we're with the Wareham Public School Department, the school bus drivers. And this is our 3rd annual Stuff a Bus for Turning Point to benefit families in the town of Wareham.
2 years ago, we decided we were going to do Turning Point could not meet their need to help the families. So we decided that we were going to do a Stuff a Bus. So we threw it together, I think, within a week.
Yeah.
And we parked it at the middle school parking lot, and we ended up stuffing a small bus. So we decided that we're going to go bigger.
And we decided to make it an annual event so that they could count on us every year assisting them with their assistance. We collect toys. As you can see, we have boxes of toys that we're collecting.
Non-perishable food items.
We've had a couple come and they handcrafted cradles with little baby dolls in them. Aren't they adorable? And we'd like to, our biggest sponsor is Delkin out on Cranberry Highway, Chrissy. When people don't pick up their dry cleaning, she has pressed and cleaned and packaged clothes and blankets and stuff. It's amazing what she does for us. She's amazing. And then we had a lady that had a dollhouse given to her, and all the finishings of shingles and furniture and stuff, and she was unable to do it and wanted to know if we would accept it as a donation. Of course, we were excited about that. Lori and I really wanted to play with that. And then we have food. We collect food, toiletries, gift certificates, just a little bit of everything to help out as much as we can. It's just amazing. Sometimes we have people pull up and they have us in tears because they tell us their stories about being in need and stuff. So we get a little choked up.
Merry Christmas! Happy New Year!
Wareham school bus drivers wish you a happy holiday season.
Merry
Merry
Christmas!
Christmas!
Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas from Solo Fitness.
Hi, I'm Rosa,
And I'm Talia.
and we are from Little People's College. Woo! We wish you all a Merry Christmas! I want to wish you a Merry Christmas!
I love this part. I love this part.
Hi, I am Nicholas Backlund, and I'm from the Palmer Art Center, and I would just like to say Merry Christmas. to
Hello,
all.
I'm Michelle from Kaleidoscope of Dance and Gymnastics. This is Janine and all of our kids, and we want to wish you all
Merry Christmas!
My name is Daniel Peters, and we represent the Wareham Gatemen. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas from the Wareham Police Department.
It was a lot of fun. Very cold. It turned out very cold later on during the day after you stop all that moving and stand still to watch the parade. Anyhow, thanks to everybody else who came out to celebrate with the town of Wareham. Right now, we're going to take a look at preventing food waste, something that is very predominant in our culture. And also, now that it is the holiday season, we just finished Thanksgiving, trying to be mindful of ourselves and to be grateful of what we have and to do what we can do for others. So preventing food waste is not only beneficial to you, but also to others, because you can donate our food instead of letting it, throwing it away and rotting away. So let's take a look at a company that has made this their mission. So you probably have heard of this before. Finish up your food. Don't you know that there are starving children in Africa? The truth is, we do not have to think about the starving children in African countries in order to understand that food wasting, not only is it wrong, it is immoral. Here's the blunt fact. Americans waste an unfathomable amount of food yearly, and yet over 40 million of our residents are food insecure. Now, how can this be? Is food donation legal? The Bill Emerson Good Samaritan Act of 1996, signed to law by former President Bill Clinton, was created to encourage food donation to nonprofit organizations by minimizing liability.
And what it does is it serves as an umbrella law so that all states can be protected against criminal and civil liability when donating apparently wholesome food in good faith. And the reason why we like to stress apparently wholesome and in good faith is because those words are actually quoted in the law. And apparently wholesome really means if I would eat it, if I would serve it to a loved one, it is donatable. If I am donating it in good faith without any malicious intent, it is donatable under the Emerson Act.
It's not like the food industries in America are trigger happy when it comes to wasting food. Oftentimes, these places wish to donate but find themselves battling another obstacle, and that is distribution. And this is where a nonprofit rescuing leftover cuisine comes in the picture.
Or what we found happening over a long period of time was a lot of the venues and caterers were unable to donate the food because the nonprofit organizations weren't able to get an actual driver over there to pick it up. Very often, if you take some of the wonderful organizations that we have locally, like Boston Rescue Mission, Father Bill's, St. Francis House, you know, they do need this food, but they can't always get a driver to physically pick up the food.
Rescuing leftover cuisine is like an Uber or the Lyft of food rescuing services, and it is highly dependent on volunteers, transporting food where it is to where food is needed. So how does it work?
We like to say that rescuing leftover cuisine bridges the gap between the prepared surplus food from restaurants, hotels, events, and those who need it at shelters, soup kitchens, etc., anywhere, any organization that is able to serve this nutritious food to those in need.
The organization carries two different types of operations, the emergency food pickups and the regular food pickups. Lauren is in charge of the Massachusetts regular food pickups, which volunteers can sign up using the online calendar.
To see the calendar, you just want to go out to volunteer, scroll down to event calendar right there, click on that. And my default came up as Massachusetts, but you can also change the default region right over here. And we have a number of different cities that are operating right now with RLC. And so this is a calendar right here, and as you hover over it, it tells you how many slots are left on a daily basis. So you can click right on the day that you want to volunteer. And here are all the events. And all you do is you click on one of those events, and to sign up, you just click on attend event, and it's as easy as that, all set.
For emergency pickup, it runs a little differently. In case of a food pickup,
any volunteer within a 4-mile radius of where the food is being donated will get a text saying, we have food to donate, can you pick it up? Our volunteers then have the option to claim or ignore the pickup.
What are these foods donated to food insecure? There are criteria when it comes to successful food donation.
food safety is important to us. So we want to make sure that the food is fresh, that if it's frozen, it stays frozen the whole time it comes into our facility, and we're putting it directly in the freezer. And if it's refrigerated food, that it's within its expiration date, and that it's fresh to the smell and fresh to sight.
Western Waterfront Hotel is an example of an emergency food pickup. The Breakaway Carrier is one of the largest delivery companies serving the greater Boston. Today, they are here to pick up an emergency food donation from the Western Waterfront Hotel to Rosie's Place, a shelter for women.
So we have the box lunches from yesterday. This is a typical box lunch. We have a bag of potato chips, pasta salad, a cookie, and a roast beef and cheddar sandwich. All fresh, all less than 24 hours old. So box lunches, anytime we have anything left over, the guests don't claim it, we donate it all. And it's great for Rosie's Place too, because they love to individually wrap things in their pantry.
It's a good concept they have, which is they find the person or the organization going to donate the food, and then they find the place close to it to deliver to them. So each time the distance is not that far, so it's easy to do this kind of deliveries. So let's start. So now we're going to Rosie Place to donate the food that we just picked up from the Western. The distance is not that too far. I know we're gonna hit some traffic, especially on Harrison Ave. It's about 2.5 miles away from the Western. You see a homeless man in the cold, you know, in the richest country in the world, and he's looking for food and he's looking for money, you know. It's an older guy. I feel bad for this guy here, really. I see them all the time because I drive around the city and I see all this. Him bring this food inside. Thank you.
Rosie's Place has been in existence since 1974, and our very first day we served a meal. And that is still the signature service of Rosie's Place this 43 years later. Our food program has certainly grown. We serve 104,000 meals a year to women and their children. We also see another 1,900 women a month in our food pantry. So when we can have a food rescue service come and bring us good quality food that we can serve to our guests, either in the meals we prepare or in our pantry, or to the women staying in our overnight shelter, it really does make a difference. Thank you. Nothing. No, I don't think so.
When you meet a restaurant owner or somebody who works in a hotel in the food service, what's the first thing you tell them? How do you engage them? And what are their questions? What are the frequent questions you hear from them?
The first thing I say to them is the incredible need to use their nutritious food for the local food insecure people who can use it. That is the message that we really want to get across. Then the message that I get across with, on behalf of Rescuing Leftover Cuisine, is that we are an extending hand to the local nonprofits. We want Boston Rescue Mission to have this food. We want Rosie's Place to have this food. We want the Huntington YMCA to have this food. We are the people who can get that food to them, because often they are short-staffed and unable to actually get that food, although they have quite a population of people who need this food.
Who are these people in America in need of food aid today? According to Feed America, millions of people are still struggling to get by because of underemployment, stagnant wages, and rising cost of living. In fact, more than 46 million people still turn to Feeding America Network each year for extra help.
The food insecure person today, it is the person who is having mental issues or addiction, and those people are suffering and they need our help. It's also the people who are working every day to support their families, but unable to always make ends meet. And this food is helping those people as well. It's helping everybody. We all need to have a much clearer and open-minded vision of who the food insecure person is.
So we are going to be rescuing from, most of the food is salads and sandwiches. So it's just as simple as grabbing these and all these delicious, healthy salads, throwing them in the bag. I just want to say we just really want to thank Pret for donating all of this food to the shelters and to people in need. I mean, this is really incredible that Pret as an organization does this. And obviously, I think Dana had mentioned this as well, but we could not do this without our volunteers. And they're the ones who make this possible.
St. Francis House is a day shelter, so people who are sleeping in night shelters will come here during the day. And we offer refuge and pathways out of homelessness. The refuge piece is critical in that people need to come here during the day to get their human needs met. That's food, clothing, shelter. In addition to that, we have a lot of programs that help people get their way out of homelessness and into stability. But the food that is brought to us through Pret is really important. We're open from 6:30 in the morning until 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We serve 700 meals a day. That's a day. That's breakfast and lunch. And the food that comes from Pret augments the food that we need to pay for. We have a budget of $200,000 a year for food, and we would not be able to offer these amazing salads that we're able to serve every day that Pret brings. We would not be able to give individuals a sandwich at 3 o'clock to take with them, to hold them over, because they are not getting another meal until either the next day or later that evening.
Apart from doing a noble thing, there are great financial incentives to food businesses choosing to donate their surplus foods instead of wasting them.
Just as of a few years ago, there are enhanced tax benefits. So it's actually going to save businesses money by donating surplus prepared food to your local nonprofits using Rescuing Leftover Cuisine. Rescuing Leftover Cuisine, we're able to then provide the documentation needed for their tax records. So all the business has to do is hand over that information to their accountant, and they will be able to get the enhanced tax benefits.
Rescuing Leftover Cuisine has been hard at work growing their Massachusetts branch, starting with Greater Boston. And even though the company is looking to recruit more and more restaurants and food industries into participating, the #1 goal at the moment is recruiting volunteers.
Our goal is to have at least 1,000 throughout Massachusetts. And I'd like to say at least 25% in Boston. We really need to grow the Boston area, the greater Boston area, and all of Massachusetts. Anybody can help. Yes, it is important for our incredible nonprofit organizations like Love and Spoonfuls to rescue those, all that fresh, nutritious food from our local grocery stores, et cetera. But it's also important to keep in mind the quality, nutritious, prepared food that is going to waste. But it doesn't need to be wasted. Rescuing Leftover Cuisine can make it so it's not wasted with your help, with the support of the community, with the support of the local businesses who are willing to partake, and really help us change our whole thought process about food donation and take food donation in Massachusetts to the next level. One thing that I would like to point out is the importance for courier services, limo services, taxi services. We need you. Do you deliver food? We need you. We really want to make this a community effort. We're starting in Boston, but we're spreading out all throughout Massachusetts. So if you're in Wareham, if you are anywhere on the Cape, Worcester, Springfield, Attleboro, no matter where you are in Massachusetts, we need your support. We need volunteers to make this happen.
So get up from the sidelines and start taking action today. Join the many who have said no to food wasting.
I will absolutely continue to do it in the future. It's worked out really well for us so far. We've donated over 1,500 pounds of food, and we've fed a lot of people with that food. We've donated in such a short amount of time. So I'm absolutely looking forward to doing it in the future.
Oh, the need is always there. As I said, we serve 120 or so guests a day, but we have to limit our guests to coming once per month. And that's just because of availability of donations.
For more information on how you can become a donor or a volunteer, please visit Rescuing Leftover Cuisine Massachusetts page online and see how you can stop food wasting, how you can end hunger today. I hope you learned a lot. Anyhow, let's take a break, and when we come back, we're gonna do history.
Today's cell phones are not only an extension of our arms, but a life tool. Hello, I am Maureen Farrington from Advantage Custom Apps. I am here today to talk about a certain app, a tool that will help you navigate your way through the Wareham community. The WCTV app places your local community in the palm of your hand. The app is a place where you will find local events, town meetings, local and school sports, community interest stories, compelling interviews, and most of all, the ability to shop local. Connect to the Wareham app by going to your web browser and typing in wctv.app. And then, once you bring up the web link, you have the opportunity of adding WCTV's app to your home screen. Once you download the app and save it to your home screen, you will then have the opportunity to, with the touch of a finger, hit the call button, which we call WCTV, the refer us button. You can refer the app to your friends and families. There's a Facebook share button if you'd like to put that on your Facebook page as well. And here is the menu tab. On the menu tab, we have YouTube videos, new program proposal, events that WCTV is hosting, a photo gallery, contact button, and can lead you right to their website. We also have a shop local tab. When you touch on that, you'll see the local businesses that you can frequent. Also, there's an About Us tab telling you some information about WCTV, their hours and directions. This here will take you right to their Facebook page. There is a donate button if you would like to donate to WCTV, and a join button that will let you join their community. Many local establishments are listing their business on the WCTV app. And you can too. It's a great way to showcase your business to your existing customers and your potential new ones. For a nominal fee, you could list your business on the Shop Local tab as well. A percentage of that fee goes to fund a scholarship for an outgoing senior. So be in the now and get the WCTV app on your home screen.
Hello, and thank you for being with us this morning for another Good Morning Wareham program. We are broadcasting live from our WCTV studio, and this is your source for local news, weather, traffic, and more information. And now for a moment in history, let's take a look at where we were today in history. All right, so today in medicine history, we are taking a look at smallpox, which was declared eradicated in 1979. Smallpox and other earlier similar variations had killed humans for thousands of years. It has played a major role in history, killing several leaders like this is Egyptian king, Pharaoh Ramses the fifth, and was essentially a plague given to the Native Americans from the colonists when they first arrived to America. The vaccine was first found by Edward Jenner in 1796 and was made mandatory to babies in Europe and America in the following centuries. The last known natural cause was found in Somalia in 1977, going to show that yes, you should get your vaccines. Don't be anti-vax, be pro-vax. All right, so today and in history, again, we're looking at film history, and we're looking at Scarface, starring Al Pacino, debuted in theaters in 1983. The gangster epic followed Cuban immigrant Tony Montana's rise and fall working in the drug business. With its box office success, the film has also become a part of pop culture, especially with its iconic line, "Say hello to my little friend." Al Pacino, who was already a movie star because of the Godfather films, would only become more popular after playing Scarface himself. Also today in holiday history, A Charlie Brown Christmas first premiered in 1965. Watching the classic cartoon starring the Peanut character has been a family tradition for millions since its first aired. Created by M. Schroz, the Peanuts started out as a comic strip run in newspapers, and at its most popular, Charlie Brown, Snoopy, and Friends were being read in over 2,000 papers in 75 different countries. Give it a special watch sometime this month to get into the mood and the Christmas spirit. Also for today's birthday, shout out goes to actor Kirk Douglas. Born in New York in 1916, he was a film star in many critically acclaimed films like Spartacus in 1957. Douglas is still kicking to this day, celebrating his 103, oh my God, 103rd birthday today. And that is all for this morning history segment. To learn more cool historical facts, you can go online under history.com. Stay with us. The coffee segment is next. We have Richard Swanson. But first, let's take a look at our events calendar. Yeah, until 9:40.
Are you tired of having to send money for your Office 365 subscription? Are you looking for other programs that you don't have to pay for? Here are a couple of solutions to some open source programs that you might want to check out. If you want a few great alternatives to Microsoft Office, try Apache OpenOffice or LibreOffice. Both are fantastic alternatives. Keep in mind that if you still need to create a Microsoft Word or Excel document, both are able to save files in the right formats. Another popular replacement for Microsoft Office is my personal favorite, Docs, which you can use free if you have a Gmail account. You can also use Google Slides for spreadsheets and Slides for slideshows, while saving files is easy if you use your Google Drive. If you're in the market for a new photo editing program, try Paint.net, which is completely free. It doesn't have all the bells and whistles that Photoshop has, but it can still do basic photo editing, adjusting, and airbrushing. Another nifty program to try out if you're into sound editing is Audacity, which you can use on either a Windows or a Macintosh computer. Just search for Paint.net or Audacity on Google, and you can download both for free. If you're interested in learning about the basics of Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, and organizing files, come to our free intermediate computer classes, which will run on September 5th, September 12th, and September 19th next month at 1:30 p.m. on Thursdays here at the main library. You can also check out our website to find out more about our basic computer skills classes. If you have any questions or would like to register for any of these classes, you can contact me at the library at smiller@salesinc.org, or you can call my extension at 508-295-2343, extension 1012. Thank you for joining me on this week's episode of Checkout of the Week from the Wareham Free Library.
Good morning, Wareham, and thank you for being with us. This is now the coffee segment, the last portion of our show. And with me is Richard Swanson, who is in the the planning committee.
Redevelopment Authority.
Redevelopment Authority. So I had it good.
And the planning board.
And the planning board. Okay. So Richard is here, and he has a proposal. He has proposed to have Wareham Congress. It has not yet been established, so now we are kicking the framework. So he's here to talk about that Congress, why it is so important, and what the Congress will be doing, what their main duty will be. And this is all connecting to the overall master plan of the town, Wareham Master Plan. So we're going also to talk about that master plan, what it is. So welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. So let's talk about, okay, you proposed this, Congress.
I took, as a member of the planning board,
yes.
We had discussions, and I proposed this to the planning board, and we talked it through over a couple of meetings, and we had a vote, and we agreed to move forward with this idea. I do want to be very fair, though, that the Wareham Congress wasn't my idea.
Okay.
As I got into town government, I've been in town 5 years now, and as I made the decision to get into government, I talked to a lot of people. And one of these people that I talked to said, you know, if we could get the agencies that we have in town working together a little bit and have like a Congress type of meeting, this person thought that would be helpful. And that kind of stuck with me. And I thought about it, and I thought about it, and then I evolved it a little bit, and this is what we presented to the planning board. And the planning board said, yeah, let's explore some more. And we decided to take this idea of the Congress, and we'll get into more details around it, to some of the other major agencies in town, like the Board of Selectmen, the FinCom, the ZBA, and people like that, Conservation Commission, and the Redevelopment Authority too. And so far, I've gotten feedback from them. I've presented one-on-one with those committees. And you reached out to me because you saw my announcement about the Saturday workshop.
Yes.
That's my reach out to the public.
Mm-hmm.
So we can talk about that. But what is the Congress? It's
So how are things functioning now? You said that it will be a way to communicate with all different boards across town. That communication process is not there, is not available at the moment?
I think it could be a lot better.
Okay.
I think it could be a whole lot better. I think we have a situation in our town where people are working very hard, the people that are volunteering and are on these boards, but they're pretty much working in a reactive sense, if you will. And we don't have the resources or the time or the people to be more proactive and start doing planning and looking down the road and what do we need to do to get better type of things. There's over 25 different agencies in our town, all staffed by volunteers, and more than half of them have openings right now. And so these agencies are, in my opinion, and I want to be real clear, this is a lot of what I'm going to say today is my opinion, and I'm not speaking for the town or any of the boards or anything like that. You know, they're working as hard as they can, just keeping up with the task at hand. And if we want to work in a forward-looking type of environment, we need to do something different. We need to do something more, and this is what the Congress is about.
Okay.
So that's where I'm going.
All right. So you mentioned that this is also tied to, actually, the main purpose of this is to keep track with the overall master plan of this town.
I mentioned before that it had been suggested that getting representatives from the different agencies together for a meeting to make sure that they're all aligned and working in harmony as opposed to 25 different directions was a good idea. And as I thought about it, I said, well, how do we bind all these agencies together? And I said, the master plan.
Okay.
You know, if we have a master plan, we have a master plan with 7 major categories, 20 different goals, 52 different initiatives in that master plan, which is on the town website, by the way. And we're not doing anything with it. We don't have time. We don't have the resources, the people. We don't have the focus to go pick out some of these initiatives and start executing on them, because they're all pretty much forward-looking type of things. So with this Congress, if I can get it going, I've reached out. We're going to have the rest of the boards at a private workshop on Thursday night, where the chairman of all the other boards who I haven't reached out to yet are invited to come. If I can get feedback, that's positive, if I can get people to raise their hand and sign up and say, yes, I'll work on this, I'll be part of this Congress, if you will, and we'll go figure out which of these tasks in the master plan are most important, and let's get some subcommittees working on them. Let's reach out and get other people in town involved, maybe citizens on these boards. I don't know. It's all pretty loose right now.
Okay.
So go.
No, you're saying you're looking for feedback, positive feedback, some questions, and you mentioned that some of that feedback relates to what they feel is the priority in the plan, and if they want to register and so forth. What could go wrong? I mean, if somebody says, I don't see anybody saying this is a ridiculous idea.
No one has said that at all. I get a lot of people nod their heads up and down, go, yeah, this is a pretty good idea, but then they go, how are you going to execute this?
It's them, right? It's all of you who have to execute this.
But it's going to be very, very hard. It's going to take a commitment. It's going to take a lot of work and a lot of effort, and it's incremental work and effort. It's not. This is going to pull cycles that aren't out there now. We have to get more people doing more things to make this happen.
Now, having a master plan is a beautiful thing, having a bigger goal to work towards. But we are having another hurdle, and that is the lack of funds. The town's budget is restrained. So what happens when people are like, yes, great, we want to do this? Do any of those goals involve in us increasing the budget or taking money from another place? And if that doesn't happen, aren't you going to be in the same place where you are right now, that you may have the time the energy to invest, but there aren't any funds to get these goals, projects done?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Money drives everything. You know, it's a realization that I came to. Having said that, however, coming up with, let me give you a good example. In the master plan, one of the initiatives outlined in there is Wareham needs to do something to get rid of derelict buildings and eyesore properties. Okay? We can come up with programs, we can come up with bylaw changes, we can come up with zoning regulations that can be proactive in dealing with that, and that doesn't cost any money. But someone has to sit down, or a group of people need to sit down and think through how to do something like that, that we can get to the goal we want to get to. This Congress, I think, that would be one of my top priorities. I drive through town and go past the same derelict buildings all the time, and every time I drive by it, it rubs me the wrong way. So I'm sure everybody out there has the same reaction. So that's a situation where if we can come up with a good, workable, fair, equitable plan to deal with these properties, and they are out there. If you go research other cities, they've come up with ways to deal with it. And some of them are drastic, some of them are not so drastic. And we have to find the right one for Wareham and the property owners that are out there. We can do that, but that doesn't take money. Other things do take money. I mean, going back to the derelict properties, one of the ways we can deal with it now is you declare a property a safety hazard, or or unsanitary, or it's a Board of Health violation. And the town can go take that and knock that property down. That costs money. We have to pay to go knock that property down. I've heard $20,000, $40,000 is what it costs to do that. We don't have that kind of money to do it. So you're absolutely right on funding. But we can protect our wetlands. We can do that. We can protect our wetlands without spending any money. That's pretty simple to do.
So the main goal is to look at goals that will not require any additional funds.
Until we have money, we can focus on the things that we can do and that we can accomplish, that really all they require is a concerted effort to do it. And in thinking, when I say concerted effort, I'm talking about a forward-looking as opposed to a reactionary effort. So I'm going to need a lot of help if I'm going to do this. I'm going to need people to stand up and say, yeah, I'm going to contribute some time. I'm going to do it. I'll give it a year, and let's see what we can do. It's a very flexible, high-level idea right now. I think it's something that we need to explore. Wareham is kind of stuck right now. Our budget, our town budget, is driven by our income, and our income is very limited. Prop 2.5 overrides aren't going to happen in this town. People in this town there's a much higher percentage of people in Wareham that are living on a fixed income. And so keeping taxes low is a top priority in this town. So all that being said, raising incremental money to go execute some of these things would be very, very hard. But like I said, there are many things we could do without having to spend money. But to do that is the redevelopment authority, who wants to go develop land out in the industrial areas and bring commerce to Wareham. Are their goals aligned with the Conservation Committee and their open space initiatives and their conservation commissions? They're going that way. The master plan calls out both of those as goals, but they're very contrary to each other. One says build, one says don't build. So if I can get the redevelopment authority, the planning board, the conservation commission, the Wareham Land Trust in a room together and come to an agreement that yes, we're going to focus on land use here for conservation, land use here for open space, land use here for industrial and commercial, and come to agreement that we all have the common goal and we're all working in the same direction, will be a big win for us.
Another big win will be to figure out ways to how we can make this town. We talked about We cannot, with the proposing 2.5, we cannot override that in this community. We are driven by our income, which is very limited. To figure out a way how we can rise above that, having our own income, things that will generate revenue for this town. So proposition 2.5 and what our residents are able to afford through taxes should not be the factor. You know, we legalized marijuana in this community, and that people hoped that it was going to generate more revenue, but it turns out that not as much as people hoped. Yeah?
I'm pretty pleased with what I've seen so far.
What are some other ways that you feel could help us with having our own substantial revenue to this town? Something secured. What are types of businesses we should be welcoming?
Well, if you read the Wareham Economic Development Strategy that the Redevelopment Authority commissioned earlier this year, it talks about industrial land and creating more of it. Wareham right now has a shortage of industrial space. We also have a situation where here in southeastern Massachusetts with 495, 195, Route 6, Route 3, we are at a transportation focal point where any type of industry that relies on transportation of product and material, this would be a good spot. I mean, can you imagine an Amazon distribution center up at the intersection up there? I mean, they could take their trucks anywhere they wanted to go. They could service southeastern Massachusetts, southeastern Rhode Island. You know, it'd be an awesome type thing. But we don't have the space right now. So we need to do some things. And the Redevelopment Authority is trying very hard to figure out how to do that, and we talk about it all the time. And we need to move from talking to doing, and we're going to get there. But maybe the Congress could help in generating that commercial tax base and bringing more revenue into the town. And at the same time, bring higher paying jobs to the area. Wareham is driven by, in my opinion, minimum wage type of jobs. The restaurant industry, the entertainment industry, things like that. And the development strategy points this out very clearly, that if we can take people and move them up from minimum wage to higher numbers and then get more money flowing into town, the more people spend, the more revenue the town's going to see. We get more and more people moving to Wareham. Wareham, we're losing students, we're losing people at prime earning ages, the 35 to 50 people. We're losing those people. We're gaining on the elderly side, in the senior side, which is a good thing if we have enough senior housing to, for them. But Wareham is a great retirement community, and we need to focus on that. And I think with that growth, you'll see town revenue. There's all kinds of ways to do it. I mean, I almost hate to bring it up, but the casino project is out there, and it's waiving $5 million a year, or maybe $6 million a year. That's 10% of our budget. Is that something that we want? I don't know. Is it something we should look at very hard and understand? Do we want to look at and understand what that revenue could mean for us and how realistic is it? Yeah, I think we need to understand it before we dismiss it out of hand. So
you also talked about building and the Redevelopment Authority are looking at affordable housing. And we are almost at the 10% required by the state. So tell me about the challenges with that, trying to get to the 10%, and you're talking about the lack of space and maybe having more preserved lands and so forth. What are some challenges, and how are you hoping to resolve those challenges through this Congress?
That's a really hard question, and I don't have a good answer for you. I think that the purpose of the Congress and how I would like to see the Congress deal with that would get people from the Affordable Housing Trust and the Redevelopment Authority and the Board of Selectmen for that matter, because it's very important for them as well, but to form a subcommittee on that housing and get these agencies in town that have a concern about it together and come up with common goals where they want to go and work together as opposed to independently. This is what the Congress is all about. Planning board's going that way, zoning board's going that way, Board of Selectmen going that way, FinCom's going that way. No, we need to get all together going the same direction in support of each other, and that's where the master plan comes in. Let's all line up and sign on to the master plan. And oh, by the way, if you don't like the master plan or you want to add something to it or take it away, there's ways to change it.
Oh, okay.
It's just a guideline. It's just a wish list. You know, that's all it is.
Oh, it's coming at quite the right time. That's all you wish for Christmas is having this Wareham Congress.
I want to see the town of Wareham taking some positive steps forward. All right, everybody in town wants to do it. Everyone's too busy keeping up with the task at hand. So this is my idea.
All right, just to remind everybody that the December 14th at 10 a.m. at the town auditorium.
Yes.
That's where the first meeting
Yes.
Is, and you're welcoming everybody.
Everybody's invited. The more the better.
Fantastic. Well, I hope to bring you back so we can talk even deeper at some of those goals that you're hoping that we can dive into.
Well, let's come back and let's talk about how it goes and what our next steps are.
Thank you so much.
All right, you're very welcome. Thanks for having me.
So to our viewers, that was Richard Swenson, who is here to talk about a proposed Wareham Congress. The first meeting that is open to the entire public, and you are invited, is on December 14th at 10 a.m. at the Town Hall Auditorium. This concludes our morning show. If you missed us, this particular episode will re-air this evening at 6 p.m. It will also go on our YouTube channel at Wareham Community Television on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining us. And, well, Richard hopes that you will be there on December 14th. That's all he wants for Christmas. Bye, Wareham.
Thank you very much.